Fiancé wanted to open our relationship to cheat on me one last time, so I ghosted her. The next morning, I'm waiting for her text or call to invite me, but she only asks how my day was. Then she says she's so happy she only has to work one more night of the night shift. How does she have one more night and a hotel reservation? I was sick, stressing in my office, and started looking through some dating sites, especially profiles with no pictures. I couldn't find anything. Paul pops in and asks me if I want to go for lunch. He sees I'm a mess and asks what's up. Paul is hard, men go their own way, but he has always supported my relationship with Jen. He suggests we go get lunch at some hotel restaurant and ice cream. No, not that place, I say. He didn't know that part. We actually go for lunch, and I am sick to my stomach. I can't eat and don't even want to drink. He says I can't work like this and that I can take as much leave as I need, paid or unpaid. I told him I can't be at my house anymore. I can't see her, and a part of me wants to believe it isn't true. I rush home and put as much of my stuff in my car as I can, then go back to the office. Paul says let's go stake out the hotel and wait for her to check in. I mean, I am no pie or detective, I'm more like Inspector Clouseau. I was really resisting this, but I had to know. So we set up in the lounge bar, and I start pounding drinks back while waiting, still hoping this wasn't real. Around 6:30, Paul taps me on the shoulder, and there she is at the front desk, not in uniform. I want to strangle her, scream, spit, cry, I don't know. We wait for 10 minutes after she gets in the elevator, then Paul and I walk to the front desk. I ask the receptionist to put me through to Jen's room, and it rings. As soon as she answers, I just start yelling into the receiver, Jen. I told you if you did this it would be over. I am done. Wedding off. Relationship over. Then I hung up and got out of there. Now where to go? I went back to Paul's place, and now my phone is lighting up. The only person I called was my dad, and I explained in PG-rated terms what happened and that I needed to leave town for a bit. It wasn't a discussion, and I felt bad for how I spoke to my old man. The phone didn't stop ringing for 2 days. Everyone under the sun called me, but I didn't answer. I didn't know what to do. The only way I could explain how I felt was like walking around underwater. Paul mentioned some financial things I should deal with to protect myself. I wasn't even thinking about that. The house, wedding loans for the car. We kept separate accounts, one for the wedding and one for house-related bills. Honestly, I couldn't care less. The next day, I emailed Jen and said this would be our last contact. I was leaving the city for a while, and everything was off, the wedding and everything else. I called my dad back and spoke with him at length. While he was crushed, he understood that I needed time and space. He said he still hoped we could work it out. 10 days later, I boarded a plane and traveled to Bali. I never answered any of her or anyone else's messages or emails. I don't know if she left the hotel that night or stayed. I didn't care. Eventually, I landed in Bali and climbed into a bottle for the next month while going offline, except for my dad and work. At that point, I didn't even care if I got fired. I wish I could say I enjoyed myself, but mostly it was just drinking. I felt a lot of rage, shame, and hate about how things went down. I kept in touch with Paul about my leave. After 3 weeks he asked if I could run back to Tokyo to look after some things we talked about regarding the new global virus. I mentioned coming back to Canada to settle things there since rumors of potential lockdowns were swirling around. On March 1st, when I got to Tokyo, it felt good to get back to work, even if it was just a little, after hearing lockdowns were coming. Paul mentioned me getting back to Canada again, but I said it would only be 30 or 60 days. I need some time to plan my next move. 30 to 60 days?